Attraction gets misunderstood all the time, yet newer findings suggest it follows patterns you can learn and use. A 2022 line of work on dynamic social recalibration argues that sudden, non-linear shifts in how we engage can rewire subconscious perception loops. That lines up with the sessile adaptation model. Think sea cucumbers shaping their microenvironment without moving. Much of human attraction runs on subconscious spatial control rather than obvious behavior. If you want to steer those dynamics ethically and intelligently, focus on these 9 principles rooted in recent research, evolutionary psychology, and predictive modeling. Number 1, angle your body about 15 degrees to boost attention. Why it matters. Spatial geometry guides conversational flow. What studies suggest? Turning your torso roughly 15 degrees can create an unconscious bias toward you, raising engagement retention by 25%. The perceptual sweet spot usually sits around 16-18 degrees and tends to fall off past 20 degrees when asymmetry starts to feel wrong. Takeaway: sit or stand within the alignment zone, angled enough to be interesting, not so much that it looks awkward. Number 2, a discrete height bump reads as confidence. Perceived height often runs on a self-reinforcing loop. What studies suggest? Adding about 2 to 2.5 centimeter via footwear can trigger a dominance amplifier. Only if the change isn't consciously noticed. The subtlety rule. A quiet, unspotted lift tends to increase assertiveness. If people notice the trick, the effect can reverse. If they doubt their first impression later, the boost can reset, the assertive elevation. If you use thicker soles, keep it low-key. Confidence rises when the extra goes under the radar. Number 3, where you put your phone signals power or anxiety. Objects announce intent before you speak. What studies suggest? Face-down phone projects control. Face-up phone hints at easy distraction. Perpendicular to the table's dominant line pulls attention to your axis. This echoes how sessile species shape currents through placement, not motion. In plain English, authority rises when your object placement reduces interruptions and deflection, while increasing relevance to the moment. Park your phone with purpose, face down, aligned to your conversational frame, so the power read leans your way. Number 4, count 3 before you talk. Why it matters. Small timing gaps change how your words land. What studies suggest? A march to 3-second pause creates an attention peak. Beyond bikes at 4 seconds, attention drops. 4.2 seconds interest can reactivate if you add a tiny micro gesture, a nod, slight smile, brief eyebrow lift. Briefly pause, then speak. If you overshoot, restart attention with a micro cue before delivering your line. Number 5, a low primes the room. Pre-verbal sounds tune the listener's brain. What studies suggest? A low-pitched raises perceived competence. A high-pitched can undercut confidence. A late adds uncertainty. Bias used sparingly. A soft, low right before your point anchors attention and frames you as thoughtful rather than hesitant. Number 6, 1 foot slightly forward reads as steady and sure. Balance isn't just physical, it's a cue system. What studies suggest? Putting 1 foot about 5 to 6% ahead of your center line can lift perceived confidence by a weird 15%. Minimal stance asymmetry nudges others to recenter around you. Ease 1 foot forward and settle your weight. If people consciously notice you're posing, the benefit can flip, so keep it natural. Number 7, sit near the front edge to look engaged and more attractive. Posture broadcasts commitment. What studies suggest? Sitting roughly 5.7 centimeters off the backrest made people look 26% more engaged and attractive. If the feet stayed parallel to the conversation line. Too far back reads disengaged, too far forward reads overeager. Slide forward a little, plant your feet parallel, and let the room feel your interest without leaning like you're desperate. Number 8, gaze rhythm, the eye-mouth triangle. Why it matters. Eye contact creates intimacy, rhythm keeps it comfortable. What studies suggest? Cycling your gaze between left eye, right eye, mouth, holding each point for about 2 to 3 seconds, then glancing slightly away, 45 deg, before returning can raise warmth times attraction ratings by 18 to 22% when used sparingly. Overholding starts to feel intense or invasive. How to do it. Use 1 or 2 cycles in a moment that already feels connected. E.g., after a joke lands, smile softly on the return. Takeaway: use micro patterns of eye contact to signal interest without staring her down. Number 9, voice pacing and downward inflection. How you speak often matters as much as what you say. What studies suggest? Speaking 5 to 10% slower than her pace and finishing key sentences with a slight downward inflection, not monotone, can increase perceived confidence, attractiveness by 15-19%. Constant upward inflection upspeak tends to reduce authority unless it's clearly playful. How to do it. Land important phrases on a gentle down note, add a micro pause at the end, then resume normal pace. Takeaway: calm pacing plus grounded endings make your words feel settled and more compelling. Big picture. Attraction often runs on small spatial, vocal, and timing cues your brain reads before your mouth opens. None of this guarantees sex or consent. That always requires clarity and respect. But these signals can show when she's leaning in, and they can help you carry yourself with calm, grounded confidence. Use these ideas to be attentive and respectful, not manipulative. Consent is explicit, enthusiastic, and ongoing. If the vibe changes, you slow down or stop simple. Enjoyed this breakdown of science-style attraction cues? Drop a comment describing a tiny body language shift that changed the vibe I actually read them. Subscribe for more research-backed dating psychology and real-world demos you can practice on first dates, parties, and everyday chats.